What's up, everyone? Thralls of Metal back again with an album review. I am Shredlord.
I'm Jammin John.
Necrotic.
And today I am very pleased to bring you the brand new album from the gruesome twosome, Darkthrone.
Eternal Hails. This comes out on the 25th of June on Peaceful Records. Band formed in 1987, and they have been pretty much everything from death metal to black metal to punk to whatever the hell they want.
Classic metal.
Yep.
They're Darkthrone. They do what the fuck they want. This is their 19th studio album.
Goodness gracious.
A lot of music.
That's
and
a lot.
this might be the beginning of a whole different chapter. Now, within the last 4 or 5 releases, they've definitely embraced more of classic heavy metal and maybe like doom metal in there. I think this is pushing well into the whole realm there, even more so. This is, as they describe it on the back of the CD, epic black heavy metal. And
Yes.
being a
Nailed
giant
it.
fan of Old Star, this is even beyond what they were doing on Old Star. This is something truly different from them, and I dig it. His Master's Voice opening track. Right away, you notice the production is about as lo-fi as possible, but not like old school Darkthrone lo-fi, not Transylvanian Hunger or Under a Funeral Moon. This is like a gritty demo from, I don't know, like a late 70s, early 80s.
That's what I said. Late 70s, early 80s
Heavy metal
mix.
act,
Yeah.
Judas Priest, Motorhead,
Scorpions.
Black Sabbath. It's
Lots.
riff a minute, but it's very minimalist. It takes riffs and just rocks them out and transitions beautifully in terms of just how these songs ebb and flow. There are only 5 tracks on here. All of them clock over 7 minutes. All of them are giant riff fests, and they are pure fun.
And as much as I don't like to go right in order, I do have to touch on the song Hate Cloak, which was the single of the album. It immediately throws off a very Black Sabbath vibe, and it made the hair on my arms stand up and my nipples completely erect, like I could cut glass. It became this doomy, sludgy Black Sabbath worship, and it sounded incredible. This whole song, actually, one of my favorites. I wouldn't say my favorite, but when you started off like some classic Tony Iommi type shit, it's hard not to fall in love with it, and that's exactly what I did with this track.
Yeah, I don't think any of us ever bring up Tony Iommi in a negative light here.
No. Yeah, it was a straight sludge fest. And a thing I found cool was there was a lead
Yes.
for the first time.
Not the
In a
first
long-
A very
time.
long time.
In a long time, like
Yeah.
in terms of like a true blues solo,
It's been a minute.
it's been a minute.
But the one thing you're going to notice immediately is the guitar playing itself has vastly improved, and we're getting things now in Darkthrone albums that we didn't normally get before, such as Voyage to a North Pole Adrift. It starts off with this very active lead melody line that you've never really heard before in a Darkthrone album, and it adds just a tiny new wrinkle of some awesomeness that really add to the epic vibe.
What was more interesting about that song was towards the middle of it, it kind of takes almost like a swingy, bluesy approach to the riff. Instead of chugging straight forward on these monster sludge riffs, it was kind of like...
Yeah. I mean, it's really interesting, like the opening of that song, too. Like, it kind of kicks off with that almost bluesy riff, and we weren't sure if the production had changed, and
It did. I think it beefed up a little bit.
Beefed up maybe the guitars were a little bit more out front, but it's kind of hard to tell because it's done in such a way it just sounds like maybe he like moved around a room closer to one of the mics where he was jamming, and that's the feel of this. It sounds like these guys just jammed in a room.
Yeah.
And recorded it, and that was it. There's really not much extra stuff on here outside of a Moog synthesizer towards the end of Lost Arcane City of Upakra. The rest of it is meat and potatoes, find a riff, make it glorious as possible, and just drive it home. And I love that. Like, every single riff on here, I was like, man, I'm looking for a bad riff, and
there wasn't one.
think Nocturno has one.
The way I explain it is think about this, boys. every time you change a riff, you have a 50-50 chance. It's either going to be good or it's going to be bad. And they keep changing riffs, and every time it's good. That's low probability to be able to do that. It's very impressive. Very impressive. The Moog, however, is something that I really enjoyed because the section with the Moog had almost a typo negative type feel. To me, it felt like a melody that Kenny Hickey would play over the big dramatic section in a typo song. And I thought that was really cool. Once again, not something that I'm used to hearing in a Darkthrone album, but it worked really well.
I'd go back even further. The Moog stuff always makes me think of, Rush, Uriah Heep, the bands that really kind of push that sound in terms of that, early prog. But this isn't prog. It's still very raw. It's still very stripped down. The clean melody is definitely different, and there are interesting note accents on there where he just sounds like he just plucked that one angrily, like, nah. It's a total mood shift in the song, and that's like the only like extra thing they really seem to bring in here. But it makes that song stand out, and what's awesome is all these songs really stand out. And for different reasons. I got echoes of Panzerfaust on this, but Panzerfaust moving into what they do now. So Panzerfaust and like Old Star kind of combined. And Panzerfaust, I mean, if you've watched our ranking, that's one of my favorites. I love that one. It is sludgy. It is poorly recorded in the best possible way. I love
Part of its appeal.
And it has that Celtic Frost vibe, and you get a lot of that in the bridge on Hate Cloak. There's a nice Celtic Frost sort of chugathon. The only thing it was missing is Tom Gabriel's You have to have that.
Cherry orchards, John.
You'll never get out of those cherry orchards.
The drumming is pretty meat and potatoes, but it's like
always is
like a Filthy Phil sort of meat and potatoes, like Motorhead, like early Judas Priest. The guy even got like twinges of like Baroness at times.
Filthy Fenriz.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, for most part, it's just straightforward, but it really fits what's happening.
Don't underestimate the pocket, baby.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's
just goes
where he
from like a
lives.
simple rock beats, but sometimes he half times it, and it seems like it all gels together really well.
The fills are never like super flashy. They're just done to serve the song. Much like I think the whole thing behind this album was let's do everything to serve these songs and make them strong. They don't have to be technical or complicated. Let's just use the power of the riff.
Yeah.
And the power of the riff is a great power. Now vocally, it's Darkthrone. I kind of like the vocals on here. Occasionally you get like a clean break. In fact, in Hate Cloak, he just says Eternal Hails. I assume that was for all the fans, and thank you, Darkthrone. But throughout most of it, it sounds like he recorded his vocals while shouting through the air conditioning vents of an abandoned building. But again, that's something that works with this whole feel of the album. It's kind of muffled and dirty, and more so than I think at least the last three. Like this one has kind of that raw feel again, but not like early raw again. It's a different kind of raw.
It's like the Merc hath returned.
The dirge. It's always been there, but now it's the more doom gets there.
Yeah.
It's even swampier. It's the mud is deeper.
I want to hear him cover St. Vita songs like this.
Yeah, dude.
Like and Candlemass, because there's some Candlemass riffs all over the place. Wake of the Awakened, that one might be my personal favorite on here.
I would agree with you.
That's a good jam.
One of the longest songs. I mean, they're all long, but this one, God, it has so many different cool transitions.
And so many good riffs. Every time you're like, no, this is it. There's no way they come out with another fucking banger of a riff and keep the song going. And it was impressive as fuck.
I like the fact that song opens up very punk. And it goes back to that sort of Motorhead feel, but it keeps that Darkthrone sinister edge. You get the tremolo melodies, and even like some harmonies in there too. I don't know, this is interesting in the sense that it is definitely one of the most melodic things they've done here in a while. They had some really catchy melodies on Old Star and Arctic Thunder, but this is different. This feels much older than it actually is.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Feeling nostalgic on a record that was released today.
Feeling good on a Saturday. I am Lord. Lord.
Lord.
I mean, Shred was saying, hey, wonder if Ozzy's going to pop up on this, because there were some riffs on there like that screams early Ozzy.
Yep,
Yeah.
several times I was waiting for Ozzy to come in, and then I was like, what? Well, this isn't Sabbath, and it's not Ozzy, so okay.
But everything they threw back to was a fucking classic. Every band we mentioned that they feel like we, were referencing was incredible.
And it's just a testament to them as songwriters. They took these long songs, and again,
talented.
Long songs, you can do those wrong. You can get boring and thrown in on one spot. You can lose people. I was actually still hungry for more of a song after a 9-minute song.
Yeah, right. Even after the like all of them, dude. None of those songs felt, because they're all 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes long.
They don't feel.
None of them felt that long, which was pretty cool. Which means it kept my interest. And like Nick said too, you hear 20 nasty riffs, and you're like, I wonder if here's one more, and then you get upset when there aren't any more.
Yeah. Like, literally after the first track, his master's voice, I mean, we all looked at each other like, wait, is that over already?
Right.
Like, what do you mean already? It was 7.5 minutes.
We were digging it. We were digging it.
Dude, I mean, you get caught in the groove of this album, and I think this, again, is another chapter we're getting into with Darkthrone, and I am excited for what may come out after this now. This is absolutely awesome, and I mean, if I went back and rated Old Star in a review, I mean, I gave it 3.5 stars. It's beyond that. This is possibly better than Old Star. Different. But I'm going to give this 4.5 stars. This album, I wouldn't say it shocked me because I know they're good, but this is like them taking on something a little bit different, and the fact that they went way back for the production, it really made the difference because it gives us this old school gritty vibe, and you just feel this album. I love it. Riff a minute. Somehow they did not miss on all of these songs, and I love it. I'm going to jam the hell out of it. Way to go, Darkthrone.
I'm also going to give it a 4.5. These guys continue to do what they do best, and that is make great music while also constantly never staying the same. And this album continues to push forward in a new direction for them, and we fucking adore it. Riff after good riff after good riff. It's basically blackened classic heavy metal, and I couldn't be any more for it.
Yeah.
4.5 all day long, all day strong, believe.
I'm gonna give it 4.5 too. First of all, if you don't bang your head to this album,
You don't have a soul.
there's something wrong. Like, you need to go seek professional help, because there's no way not to. Like these guys said, it's just riff after riff after riff after riff, and it's nothing flashy, but it's the right kind of meat and potatoes to bring to the dinner. It just stacks levels of awesomeness. There was a lot more melody in this than there has been in the past, and the overall feel of it, it's like blackened Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Like more Black Sabbath.
Is that possible?
The blackest Sabbath ever.
And if you guys know me, I haven't been real big into black metal, but of course, after tackling the Darkthrone discography, I figured
He's coming along.
this is next in line, and this is a damn good album, and it's unfortunate that there's only 5 songs, because there should have been more, because it's really awesome.
But they left us wanting more, for sure.
Yes.
That is good. They left us hungry, which is good, because I shouldn't say I knew, but I had a strong feeling that this album was going to be kick-ass, and it did not disappoint. At all.
Like I said, I loved Old Star, and I don't know, I like the whole ethos of Darkthrone does whatever the fuck they want, and generally when their heart is in it, their blackened hearts, of course, they just get it together, and it comes out just awesome. And here lately, this whole embracing of classic heavy metal, but with their attitude, it's a wonderful combination. Jam that shit all day.
So, if you like the review, please hit the like button and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, because it notifies you all the time of when we release new content, which is pretty much on the daily. Also, we are on Patreon now. If you would like to contribute a small amount of your coin to help us jackasses continue to put out stuff like this, we would greatly appreciate it. And we also have shirts now, because we would like to, once again, dress you up in our shirts all over your body. And if you would like to be dressed in our shirts all over your body.
All over.
Please send a message to thrallsofmetal@gmail.com with the large caption, please, because Nick is, as he gets old, it's hard for him to see things.
Who said that?
Large letters, shirts, and we'll reach out to you and get you taken care of. So, on behalf of my metal cohorts and I, we thank you for watching, and we will check you again later. Godspeed, little doodle.